Hey everyone, how's it going? Oddball Comics here. So, we are kind of diving right now deep into the Avengers and X-Men Axis storyline. And since Havok kind of plays a good role into this, and I don't think a lot of people know Havok too much outside of the Fox movies. So here today, we're actually going to go a little bit more in-depth on who Havok is and what makes Havok Havok. So if you guys like this stuff, make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below if there's any other characters you want me to do. Other than that, let's get started. Havok, also known as Alex Summers, he was actually introduced in Uncanny X-Men number 54 in March of 1969, created by Arnold Drake and Don Heck. Havok is actually the middle child between Scott and Gabriel Summers, respectively known as Cyclops and Vulcan, but I'm not going to dive too deep in that, maybe another video down the road. Anyways, getting back into the character, when Alex was a boy growing up in Anchorage, Alaska, his father took the family for a flight in their airplane, which came under attack by a Shi'ar spaceship. As the plane caught fire and was crashing, his parents fastened Alex to his brother Scott in a parachute and pushed him off the plane. Just in hopes that they would survive, his brother ended up hitting his head and was in a coma for a short while. So the two Summers boys were recovered and put in an orphanage, where Alex was soon adopted, though Scott remained there for much of his childhood. Alex was raised by the Blandings family, whose son Todd Blanding had actually died in a car accident. They tried to make Alex fit into the image of their son, and he tried to do so as best as he could. When the boy responsible for Todd's death kidnapped Alex and his foster sister, Haley, Alex manifested his powers for the first time, incinerating the boy. Mr. Sinister, an evil geneticist who was obsessed with the Summers bloodline, appeared eager yet surprised that Alex's potential exceeded Scott's. Despite the fact that he seemed to lack control over his gift, the Sinister placed PSI blocks on both Alex and Haley's mind, causing them to forget what happened that night, and making them unaware of his powers once more. So Alex, eventually growing up, went on to study and earn a degree in geophysics. There is where he actually first met the original X-Men and learned that Cyclops was his brother. His mutant powers became apparent when he was kidnapped by the Living Pharaoh, who declared Alex the only being able to rival his power. Alex's mutant powers at first seemed to manifest itself only when he was near death, and he was unable to control it, and he feared his own immense power. Alex was later captured by Larry Trask and his Sentinels, who were bent on controlling and eradicating all mutants. Trask fashioned a costume for Alex that would help him control his powers, and Alex was given the code name Havok. So after this, Havok actually joined the X-Men for a brief period, going on countless adventures. Havok ended up recruited by Professor X, along with Marvel Girl, which is Rachel Summers, Nightcrawler, Warpath, Darwin, and Polaris, his on-again, off-again lover, to participate in a space mission to stop Vulcan from unleashing his powers on the Shi'ar Empire. Havok was recently reunited with his father, Corsair, and it was brought to him news about Vulcan in the first place. But during the final battle to stop Vulcan, Corsair tries to reason with his son, but Vulcan ended up just killing his father where he stood. Havok, enraged by this, launches an attack at his brother with the intention of killing him, but is easily defeated in the end. Nightcrawler, Warpath, and Hepzibah get the injured Professor X and Darwin back to the ship. Lilandra sends the ship back to Earth, leaving Havok and his teammates stranded. And with this, Havok, along with Polaris, Rachel Summers, Corvus, Shad, and Raza, form a new team called the Starjammers. Well, after the death of Havok's father, he was dedicated to defeating Vulcan and restoring Lilandra to the rightful throne. So the Civil War began between Vulcan's forces and those loyal to the dethroned Lilandra. Led by Havok and the Starjammers, Lilandra's forces gradually whittle away at Vulcan's army. Eventually there was a ceasefire due to an outside force called the CR, which means death to all Shi'ar. So as soon as the tide of the battle shifts to the CR, the Shi'ar then proceed to attack both the CR Tall and the Starjammers once again. And with this end result, Vulcan ends up blasting Havok into the sun. But with his powers, Alex actually ends up returning, and having absorbed enough power from the sun's rays, he decides to try to burn Vulcan to death. But the fight is short-lived when he was captured by the Imperial Guards, capturing him and the Starjammers. Havok allowed some time to go by, allegedly with these moments of exposure to the sun, absorbing all the rays, waiting to make his move, waiting until it was his mealtime. As the guards slid the food through the door, he ends up blasting the door open, warning the guards to run. Once stopping Vulcan and freeing his teammates, Havok, Polaris, Rachel, and Corvus departed for Earth, eventually returned in X-Men Legacy number 254, in which Rogue launches a rescue mission after Rachel sends a telepathic distress signal. So fast forwarding during the Avengers vs. X-Men event, Havok actually, instead of joining the X-Men, he ends up joining the Avengers, in which after this event is over, he is asked actually to lead an Avengers Unity Squad by Captain America, but during the Axis storyline, the Red Skull, Scarlet Witch, and Doctor Doom accidentally morally invert various heroes and villains. Havok is among those affected by the inversion spell. He resigns from the Avengers Unity division and reconciles with his brother. Havok still remains corrupted after this event, but now we're going to kind of dive into powers and abilities. So, with Havok possessing the power to absorb ambient cosmic energy, take that energy, turn it into plasma, and actually blast it towards the enemy in that light ring circle that we see. These waves will emanate from his body in all directions unless he purposely tries to channel them into a single direction. So he's immune to adverse effects of most forms of radiation with this, and also heat. But in the past, he was not entirely able to control this ability, which made him a danger to those around him, unless he wore that special containment suit which I talked about earlier. So Havok is actually immune to his own powers and those of his brothers Scott's, and kind of Vulcan's. He's a little bit resistant but not immune. And that's kind of works for all the Summers brothers towards each other with their powers. But with Havok's body constantly absorbing cosmic radiation, when his body reaches its capacity excess, we can see that this ring around his chest and his suit actually shows that. And when he's running low, it tends to fade. But lastly, Havok has normal human strength. Really, besides that, there's nothing too much crazy about him. Havok is well-educated in the field of geophysical science, where he has earned a master's degree and completed some doctoral work. And he's been trained in hand-to-hand combat and martial arts by actually Wolverine. Alright, other than that, guys, so that's Havok explained. He was actually kind of a cool character to do, and doing this video actually makes me want to do the Summers Brothers. You have kind of a crazy bloodline if you want to take in multiple timelines, so I'm not sure how crazy these videos would get. Other than that, guys, I will check you guys out on the next video. We'll be doing Saturday with part 2 of the Axis storyline, and I will see you guys later. See ya!